Hi, this is Born in 62, I'm Henrik Jøs. Today I'm going to talk about motivation. I've talked about motivation before, but it's, in my opinion, one of the most crucial subjects for you who want to do something with your life. Often people make plans, they have dreams and they set up goals, but they fail on the motivation part, and with that the entire project fails. I have talked before about motivation, negative, positive motivation. Negative motivation is when you're driven by fear, driven to avoid something you don't want to happen. Positive motivation, you usually have a very strong image of what you want, something you want to get, something you want to become. So there's these two kinds of motivation. You can see more about that here. Also, there's degrees of motivation. I have made another video, and you can see that too, about how motivated you are. If you have a project that is hard to do, something that takes a lot of you, then you need to have a very strong motivation. And my claim is that on a scale from 1 to 10, if it's below 7, forget about it, you'll not reach your goal. Today we are going to look at motivation in kind of different model, but it goes together with the others. First off, you have a goal, something you have said to yourself, I want to do this. You might have written it down. That's a strong statement instead of just walking around thinking about it. And the first that comes to mind is willpower. Some people have a lot of willpower, some people don't. A lot of time people rely on willpower alone and just that, and they often fail. Willpower is like an explosive. It can give you a great blast right now and here, but in the long run it's hard to summon up willpower again and again and again if you don't like doing what you're supposed to do to reach your goal. So I myself have a lot of willpower. I'm good at gritting my teeth, but sometimes it just doesn't work. You come home from work, you're tired, you're in a bad mood, and you really don't want to do whatever you're supposed to be, study, apply for jobs, work out, paint the kitchen, whatever your goal is. So willpower can fail you, and it's very hard to summon up willpower again and again and again. So this is great when it works, but you just can't rely on that. The next we have here is external motivation. External motivation is any kind of motivation that comes from the world outside you. It can be your friends, they take up basketball, you're another sort of basketball yourself, but you want to be with your friends, so you start playing basketball, and that's great, that's really good. But the moment your friends drop out of basketball, probably you too will drop out because your motivation was not your own, but someone else's. External motivation can be positive and negative. If you look at this video because you're going to an exam and you know one of the subjects is motivation, and you imagine that you can be the best student ever and have a fantastic grade, then you have an external but positive motivation. If on the other hand you fear of flunking the exam, being expelled from school, from having the worst grade ever, you have an external negative motivation. We can use motivation, external motivation, in different ways. One of them is by collecting visual images that support your own motivation. Let's say you want to work out and lose weight, then you can print or clip out pictures of people who look, part of them anyway, like you want to look. You find someone who has good shoulders and you print that picture and put it on your wall, maybe on your fridge, maybe in the kitchen, maybe where you work out. But something you will see quite often, that every time you see this image, you'll have this internal voice telling you, hey, I want to work my shoulders, I want to look like that. If you want to graduate any kind of education, you can print images of people from a graduation or the job you want to have after you have graduated, whatever motivates you. If you want a new job, you can print out images of that job, how it will be. That kind of external motivation can do a lot for people, because you are actually pushing or nudging yourself all the time with these positive images. The other thing you can do is to make arrangements. Let's say you have made a goal saying you should run 3 times a week, and you know it's bloody hard to get out if it's raining or dark and you are tired and so on. And you can simply make an arrangement to run with somebody else. Somebody who has the same goal, somebody who want to run with you. And you know you can't skip a workout because this guy or this girl will be waiting for you. And you're supposed to run with them. And you know you're a wuss if you phone them every time and say, I can't do it today. So this kind of external motivations can be very positive and help you attain your goal. Last, we have the internal motivation. That is all kinds of motivation that comes from within you. That can be your values, your beliefs, your convictions, everything you believe is necessary in your life, what you believe is good, what you believe you must do. Most of us have a lot of beliefs that we are not fully aware of. Like, how many times a day do you need to brush your teeth? I grew up with an exact number here, 2 times a day. That's the norm. Everybody brushes their teeth in the morning and in the evening before they go to bed. I was brought up with that, and if I don't brush my teeth for any reason 2 times a day, I feel bad about it, and I feel something is wrong, and suddenly I think my mouth is filthy and I don't like it. That is because I have a very strong belief and value about brushing my teeth. So if you can attain that kind of value and belief about your goal, if you can tell yourself often enough that you want to have your own company, or you want to have this kind of exam, or you want to go to this place and do that, whatever. At that point where you believe it so strongly that you can't really imagine not doing it, this is the strongest kind of motivation ever. But again, this can be positive or negative. If you believe that looking at a video like this one is good for you because you'll learn something and you can use it in life and you feel a positive motivation about learning new stuff, then it's an internal positive motivation. But you can also have rules in your life that are not positive, but you believe that you should do them even if you don't like to. So let's assume you're looking at this and you really hate it, but you have this inner belief that every day you should learn something new, whether you like it or not. Then you are actually kind of committing a small piece of violence on yourself, because you are forcing yourself to do something you really don't like to do. And that is the danger around goals and attaining goals, is that you often have to force yourself. And is this good? Well, if we didn't force ourselves, we would probably never do anything really. We would just sit in the couch and drink beer or watch television or whatever. So the good thing here is that by doing something with your belief, your motivation, your values, your internal motivation, then you are not actually forcing yourself in the long run, because you become convicted that this is the way to go. So you'll not feel it like a struggle the way you will if you only use willpower. So this was a bit about motivation. Next time I'll talk more about motivation, and it will be a kind of struggle to find out what really motivates you, because often we say, hey, I want to lose weight, hey, I want to get a new job, but why do you do it? That's the interesting point. But until then, bye.